Picture two people living on the same street, in the same type of apartment, paying the same rent. Noah earns $110,000 a year. Step into her apartment, and you'll see a home theater setup worth $6,000. A custom wardrobe bursting with clothes she cycles through maybe once a season. A garage full of gear from hobbies she no longer practices. A paddleboard, a set of golf clubs, a pasta maker still in the box. Her kitchen has more gadgets than a Williams-Sonoma showroom. She opens her banking app the way most people open a bill, with dread. One bad month away from maxing out her credit cards. Then there's Marcus. He earns $48,000. His apartment feels open. A simple couch, a regular TV, a kitchen with maybe 12 things in it, all of which get used. His closet has exactly what he wears. His savings account has 20 months of expenses in it. He puts 22% of every paycheck into investments. On autopilot, two people. One earns more than twice the other. The lower earner has 10 times the financial stability. This isn't a video about income. It's about the invisible system that quietly determines who actually builds wealth. And it has almost nothing to do with your salary. Here's what almost nobody explains. Every object you own costs you money twice. The first cost is the sticker price. You know that one. But the second cost? Most people never add it up. It's the ongoing tax you pay just for keeping something in your life. Storage space, upkeep, mental attention, and the opportunity cost of that money not being invested. Take a home gym. Say you spent $12,000 setting it up. Feels responsible, right? But here's what that actually costs. In most cities, interior square footage runs $40 to $60 per square foot annually in implicit rent. A home gym setup takes up roughly 200 square feet. That's $8,000 to $12,000 per year in space cost alone. And $12,000 invested in an index fund for 15 years becomes closer to $45,000. So you didn't just buy a gym. You traded $45,000 in future wealth for a room you feel guilty walking past. The same math applies to boats, motorcycles, vacation homes, recreational vehicles, anything that sits more than it gets used. And it's not just money, it's mental energy. Neuroscience research has shown that visual clutter measurably elevates cortisol, your stress hormone, and impairs focus. The stuff piling up in your home is quietly draining your cognitive bandwidth, even when you're not looking at it. People who consistently have money, regardless of what they earn, have figured out a different approach. Let me walk you through the rules they follow. Rule 1. Calculate cost per use before every purchase. Before buying anything non-essential, ask, how many times will I realistically use this? Divide the cost by that number. That's your cost per use. The only honest way to measure value. A $180 blazer, worn 3 times, costs $60 per use. A $500 blazer, worn 250 times, costs $2 per use. The expensive one is objectively cheaper in any meaningful sense. This one calculation kills most impulse buys instantly. That $350 pressure cooker you'll use 4 times a year costs $87.50 per use in year 1. Meanwhile, a $25 pot you use 3 times a week costs 16 cents per use. The math doesn't lie. On the flip side, this math reveals where spending really is worth it. A $1,800 mattress slept on every night for 10 years runs about 49 cents per use. That's exceptional value for something that directly affects your energy, focus, and health every single day. Rule 2. Apply the disappearance test to everything you own. Go room by room. For every item, ask one question. If this vanished tomorrow, would I actually go spend money to replace it? Not, would I miss it? Would you replace it? Be honest. Would you buy another electric fondue set? Another bread machine? Those jeans in the back of the closet? For most items, the answer is no, you wouldn't. They exist through inertia, leftover enthusiasm, obligatory gifts, or habits you've long since outgrown. Items you wouldn't replace are actively costing you. They occupy space, attract dust, and require organizing and consume mental energy, all without contributing anything real to your life. Removing them isn't loss. It's recovery of resources that were already gone. Rule 3. Never upgrade something that still works. There's a specific pattern that quietly drains high earners dry. They upgrade perfectly functional things out of boredom or because something newer exists. The phone that works gets replaced because the new model has a slightly sharper camera. The couch that's comfortable gets swapped because they've grown tired of looking at it. The car that runs flawlessly gets traded in because a coworker got a new one. Each individual upgrade feels minor. Collectively, they're catastrophic. The average person replaces their phone every 2.5 years. Over 35 years, even at conservative prices, that's $35,000 to $55,000 for phones that mostly still worked. Apply that same pattern to cars, furniture, appliances, and wardrobe, and you're looking at $250,000 or more in lifetime unnecessary spending. People who build wealth define functional clearly. Something is functional until it genuinely cannot do what it's supposed to do. Boredom is not a malfunction. A newer model existing is not a malfunction. Wanting novelty is not a malfunction. Actual breakdown is a malfunction. Everything else is a marketing message convincing you to solve a problem you don't have. Rule 4. Design your environment to save by default. Willpower is a depleting resource. It runs low when you're tired, stressed, or emotionally drained, which is precisely when impulsive spending happens. If your financial system depends on willpower, it will eventually fail. The fix is to engineer your environment so that good financial decisions happen automatically and bad ones require deliberate effort. Make saving frictionless. Automate transfers to investment accounts the day you get paid, before you see the money. Make it disappear into the future before it can become a purchase today. Make spending effortful. Remove saved payment info from online stores. Delete shopping apps. Unsubscribe from promotional emails. Institute a 48-hour hold on any non-essential purchase over $50. Studies suggest the waiting period alone eliminates around 65 to 75% of impulse purchases. Most desires aren't eliminated. They just expire naturally when you can't act on them immediately. You don't need better discipline. You need better design. Rule 5. Count your possessions and set hard limits. This one sounds strange until you try it. Counting forces awareness, and awareness changes behavior. How many shirts do you own? Most people guess 15 and discover they have 38. How many kitchen gadgets? How many cables for devices you no longer own? The act of counting changes how you see new purchases. If you know you own 44 shirts, walking into a store and reaching for another one feels different. You're not buying a shirt. You're expanding a collection you already can't justify. People who maintain financial clarity often set category limits. Maximum 35 clothing items. Maximum 10 books unread at any time. One in, one out. Any new item entering the home requires something leaving. These aren't arbitrary constraints. They're the mechanism that prevents the slow accumulation you never notice happening until it's overwhelming. Rule 6. Rent or borrow before you commit. Enthusiasm fades. This is not a character flaw. It's just human. The problem is that most people buy based on peak enthusiasm, the moment they're most excited about something, rather than average sustained interest. Before buying camping gear, rent it for 2 trips. Before investing in woodworking tools, use a local workshop space. Before purchasing a kayak, rent a few times across different conditions and seasons. This reveals whether the interest is durable or temporary. Many interests, maybe most, fade significantly after the initial exploration phase. Far better to discover that while renting than after spending $2,000 on equipment that will silently accumulate in your garage for the next decade. Garages across the country are essentially museums of past enthusiasm. Ski equipment from a phase that lasted 1 winter. Guitar gear from a band that played 3 shows. Photography setups from when someone planned to go professional. Rent first, buy later, if at all. Rule 7, calculate the full ecosystem cost. Nothing exists alone. Every major purchase connects to a web of supporting purchases that often cost more than the original item. A camper van needs camping gear, a vehicle capable of towing, maintenance tools, and eventually a storage solution. A wine cellar needs climate control, specialized shelving, an ongoing acquisition budget, and insurance. A luxury home needs premium everything: furniture that fits the scale, landscaping that matches the aesthetic, renovation upgrades that feel necessary in that context. Before any significant purchase, map the full ecosystem. What else does this require? What ongoing cost does it generate? What does it make feel necessary that wasn't before? A $7,000 purchase might actually be a $13,000 ecosystem when fully accounted for. That math changes the decision. The reverse is equally powerful. Eliminating one major possession often collapses an entire cost ecosystem around it. Sell the boat, and suddenly you're also not paying for storage, marina fees, winterization, insurance, and the truck with the right tow rating. Rule 8. Define what enough looks like. In writing, here's the trap that catches high earners most reliably. They never define enough, so the goalpost moves continuously. Income rises, expectations rise with it, and they perpetually feel behind, despite earning more every year. Someone earning $280,000 can feel exactly as financially stressed as someone earning $70,000 if their lifestyle has expanded to consume every dollar. The fix is to define enough in advance, in writing, before your income gives you options you haven't thought through. What square footage of home is genuinely sufficient for your life? What vehicle reliably gets you where you need to go? What wardrobe reflects who you actually are versus who you imagine you might become? Write these numbers down. Commit to them as your ceiling, not your floor. Are someone who defines their lifestyle ceiling at $55,000 per year and then grows their income to $140,000 is channeling $85,000 annually directly into wealth. That's not incremental improvement. That's transformational. Someone earning the same $140,000 who keeps redefining enough upward might save nearly nothing, and often doesn't, despite every intention to start once things settle down. Rule 9. Measure wealth by freedom, not by possessions. The conventional definition of wealth is visible accumulation. The size of your home, the brand of your car, the conspicuousness of your consumption. A different definition measures wealth by what you can choose. Can you leave a job that's making you miserable without financial catastrophe? Can you take 3 months off for a family situation? Can you move cities for a relationship or a better opportunity? Can you absorb an unexpected $15,000 expense without derailing your life? These choices are only available to people with substantial margin between income and spending. And that margin is only possible when you're not spending every dollar maintaining an oversized lifestyle. Someone earning $90,000 and spending $42,000 has extraordinary freedom. They can absorb disruption, take risks, and make decisions based on what they actually want, not what they can financially survive. Someone earning $175,000 and spending $170,000 has almost none of that. They're chained to their income, one disruption away from crisis. Every purchase is a trade. You're exchanging future freedom for present possession. Sometimes it's worth it. Often, when you frame it that clearly, it isn't. Rule 10. Declutter on a cycle, not once a year. The classic minimalism failure looks like this. Massive purge, feel incredible for 6 weeks, gradually reaccumulate. 2 years later, you're back to square one. The purge treats the symptom. The cycle treats the cause. Instead of annual overhauls, build in regular small reviews, a few minutes each week to evaluate what came in. A monthly review of one category, just one. A quarterly look at overall accumulation trends. Removing 5 items per week is sustainable. Removing 400 items once a year is exhausting, emotionally draining, and usually gets postponed until next year. Regular reviews also build awareness. You start to notice which categories creep up, which emotional states trigger purchases, which marketing tactics consistently work on you. And that self-knowledge allows prevention instead of repeated cleanup. Here's what I want to leave you with. The relationship between owning less and having more money is bidirectional. And that's the part nobody talks about. Owning less creates more money, but having more money also makes owning less feel natural. When your savings are real and your investments are growing, the psychological urge to fill emotional voids with purchases diminishes. The security you used to seek through things, you now have through actual financial strength. That creates a compounding cycle. Less spending, to more saving, to more security, to less emotional drive, to spend, to faster saving. Each rotation accelerates the next. The opposite cycle is equally self-reinforcing, just in reverse. Spending everything creates insecurity. Our insecurity drives more spending as temporary relief. More spending deepens the insecurity. The cycle continues until something forces a break. The cycle you're in determines your financial future more than your income ever will. Noah, from the beginning of this video, she's not reckless. She's not irresponsible. She just never questioned the assumption that accumulating more is the same as living better. Marcus never made that assumption, so he lives on $48,000 the way most people imagine they live on $120,000. Both options are available to you right now, regardless of what you currently earn. The only question is whether you want to own your possessions or be owned by them.